Hey everybody, welcome to Blowout and Damper 3. Today's episode, we're talking Conan the Barbarian.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of your women.
This movie was released in 1982 and gave Arnold Schwarzenegger his big break. But if you're around during that time, you may remember that the movie got a lot of flack for its treatment of animals. They were accused of animal cruelty, particularly against the horses in some of the combat scenes. But have you heard about Arnold's latest anecdote in his newly released book? In it, he tells a story that doesn't exactly do the movie any favors. We'll talk about it in just a few seconds on the other side of the intro. See you there. Hey everybody, it's Eric. Thanks for joining. Once again, you can see I'm flying solo today. Turns out there's a holiday going on, and Jeff and his family are doing family things. Now, normally, I have to admit, I'd probably be doing this too, and we'd probably give this week a miss between Christmas and New Year's. But actually, Santa brought me some pretty neat stuff. I got a new microphone, which I hope is improving the sound quality of the podcast, and got a new webcam. So I was really eager to give those a shot. Not to mention, Santa also brought me a new Damper 3 mug, which actually... Santa plans on bringing one to Jeff too as soon as he's not so lazy and can remember to put it into the mailbox. So Jeff, you'll be getting one of these here soon too. So today's topic, I was actually inspired by a conversation I was having with my brother. He pointed me to an article that was talking about an excerpt from Arnold's new book, Be Useful. And in it, he talks about his time, or he talks about filming the movie Conan the Barbarian. John Milius was, and he wanted him to do a lot of stuff that was quite demanding on him, including, you remember the scene where he is being crucified and the vulture's picking at him, and then he bites the vulture on the neck. Well, it turns out that when he bit that vulture, it was an actual dead vulture. He bit into it several times, and each time he had to gargle with alcohol to try to get it out of his mouth, all that. But apparently he was on the verge of vomiting when he did that. And you can only imagine, well, as Arnold said, that it would probably have had the PETA people up in arms. So considering the other kind of grief that they got for animal cruelty, I'm kind of surprised that this story wasn't revealed a little bit earlier. But anyway, after hearing about that, it got me thinking about some of the other, about wondering some of the other kind of details around the production of Conan the Barbarian. So today's episode, we're going to be doing trivia from Conan the Barbarian. Okay, so the first one, Arnold and the Vulture. We already talked about it. Trivia point number 2. Oliver Stone helped write the first version of the screenplay. In fact, he's still credited as a co-writer of the screenplay. Yes, that Oliver Stone. But did you know that when he wrote that, when he did the original screenplay write-up, it was a budgetary nightmare because it called for all sorts of elaborate scenes, costumes, and combat scenes, and live animals, and all these other types of things. So the studios knew that if this were ever to come to fruition, it was going to have to be slashed dramatically. But not only that, those of you who are familiar with Conan knows that it's supposed to take place in the prehistoric times. 10,000 years BC, basically, was the time of Hyperborea and the time of Conan the Barbarian. Oliver Stone's treatment had it in the future as a post-apocalyptic story, where Conan and Valeria were fighting mutant pigmen of some kinds. Kind of sounds like an orc from Dungeons and Dragons to me, but yeah, that also got discarded when John Milius came in and helped rewrite the movie, put it back into the past where the source material had it, and also scaled back the elaborate scenes so that the movie was more realistic as far as budget goes. Trivia point number 3. Conan the Barbarian didn't do really well at the box office. It came in, for 1982, it was the 15th top grossing movie. However, you got to give it a little bit of slack because it was a really packed year. The top 3 movies for that year are 1, E.T., the Extraterrestrial, 2, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and 3, Rocky 3. So it had a lot of stiff competition, so you can kind of understand that it got pushed out, how it would have been pushed out in the top 10. Now, what's a little bit embarrassing, though, is that even though it was released in over 1,000 more theaters, Conan the Barbarian barely, like $500,000, edged out Sword and the Sorcerer, which came in 16th overall for the year. Now, if you're not familiar with Sword and the Sorcerer, well, those of you who are, I'm sure the only thing that most of us remember about Sword and the Sorcerer is the 3-bladed sword that launches 2 of the blades on either side. I challenge almost anybody to tell me what that movie was about, because I sure don't remember it, and I was a science fiction sword and fantasy fan. So, and our final trivia point for tonight, while a lot of reviewers panned Conan the Barbarian, they made fun of the acting, they said that it was too long, and that sort of thing. Surprisingly, noted movie critic Gene Siskel actually enjoyed the movie, and not only that, he had high praise for Arnold Schwarzenegger. He said that it was obvious that Schwarzenegger's joy in his performance as Conan the Barbarian was translated into the film, and you could easily see that. And that between that and the physical exertions in the movie made it a fun movie to watch. So it's pretty neat that one of the most preeminent movie critics out there actually seemed to enjoy it. Now, weirdly enough, though, one of the things that he did not like about it was what he called the undistinguished movie score. And he said that it, quote, stands between us and the lead characters. Now, I'm speaking as someone who used scarce funds earned during the 1980s to purchase the Conan the Barbarian theme soundtrack. And I can tell you that makes no sense. That soundtrack is awesome. So I don't know what Gene was thinking about then, but I have to disagree with him on the quality of the soundtrack. Anyway, hope those are some tidbits that you didn't know about Conan the Barbarian. If you know any more, let me know. Put them into the comments. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. And if you do happen to remember anything about Sword and the Sorcerer, please let me know, because I'm scratching my head and I can't even remember who the villain was. Okay, thanks again for joining us, everybody. Have a great day.